if you're all in the right place. But actually, you are all in the right place.
If you're looking for traveling to Japan on a budget, you just missed it.
So, we wanted to organize this panel because we're all really big fans of Falcom as a game company. They're a really, they were a really important company in early, 80s video gaming. They were established in 1981, published what is arguably the first Japanese-developed RPG, or action RPG, in 1983, published what is to this day the best-selling Japanese PC title, and just in general, they were very important to Japanese PC gaming, and they're still around today. They're still making PC and PSP games, and it's just a really, really cool company for people who like games.
Falcom is particularly interesting in Japanese PC development because during the 80s, both Japanese and Western companies were making PC games, but at a certain point, Japanese development went more console-centric for whatever numerous reasons. And the only companies that kept making PC games were mostly porn. So up until even today, you can walk into a Japanese game store, you have porn, like Western games like Rainbow Six, and then a small section for Falcom.
Thanks. Yeah, try not to break our visuals.
Sorry. But yeah, we figured we should start with brief introductions. I'm Tom. I'm known online as WeirdWad. I'm one of the moderators on the Ancient Land of East message board, which is a really great message board. I take it we have a couple of members in the audience with us today. It's a really, really great message board, and lots of great people on there from all over the place. We have regulars from China, from Pakistan, from Brazil, Norway, wherever. I mean, just all over the place.
Actually,
it's great.
The guy who runs the board's from Sweden. So.
Yes, he is. And so it's just a really, really cool place. And I've been a Falcom fan since the PSP Legend of Heroes: The White Witch came out, which, if you hate any of the PSP Legend of Heroes games, blame Bandai, not Falcom. We'll go into that later.
My name is Kurt Collada. I run a website called Hardcore Gaming 101. About 2 years ago, I became momentarily obsessed with Falcom games for reasons that I can't even really explain. I guess because I was into video game soundtracks for a long time, and Falcom is really big in the video game music scene. A lot of their stuff matches Konami at their peak. It's really awesome stuff that they'll be going over with. And there's a lot of games I had heard about and heard the music, but I had no idea what they were about. So that kind of prompted me to start playing, and there weren't very many English resources, so that was just a fun journey. So, and I think the first game I ever played was East Book 1 and 2, which was the killer app for the TurboGrafx 16 CD way back in the early 90s. And I didn't get to play it until Magic Engine was released, but even if you have no interest, it's worth it just to get the music. It's all playable on a regular CD player.
My name is Kirsten. I'm also known as Floofy or OMG Floofy or whatever. I am a regular on the Ancient Land of East forums, but I think my big thing is that I'm one of the translators for the Sword no Kiseki translation project. We are taking a game that has 55,000 strings of text, which is the first of 3. And for some reason, we have had people tell us that we are insane and we are on crack because it's bigger than most major RPGs out there as a whole. So, but I really got into Falcom through the soundtracks because I'm a huge game music fan, and my friend randomly left his perfect collection for East 1 over at my apartment, and there it went. Actually, my first experience was hating East 3, Wanderers from East.
East 3 is the best one game ever made.
I know!
It's a terrible game, and yet I have so much fun playing it.
I'm the same way, but then I love Ultimate Falcom.
Yeah, Ultimate Falcom is a legitimately fantastic game.
At this point, if you've never played East 3, just play East Oath and Felghana instead. It's
and
basically,
you will be much happier with yourself.
Yeah, it's just a ground-up remake of the game that just makes every other version obsolete.
Yeah, this made me miss out on the East series until I randomly played Arkham and Vishnu.
Which is a really good one. Actually, that was the first one in 8 years, wasn't it? First new one?
Yeah.
They made it such a big deal about it, too. It was great, though.
It was indeed.
Okay, and just to go over the reasons why we love Falcom, at least other than the music. was ever since the beginning, they've done a really good job of meshing arcade elements with RPG elements. Like, one of the first real action games they did was called Sorcerian, which was translated here by Sierra. It was mostly done for like King's Quest, but they imported a couple of Japanese games. They ported it to DOS, and we don't have any pictures, but it was this funny little game where you had 4 different people running through dungeons, and you had these really weird sword attacks and fireballs. You just jump around and basically do fetch quests. But in addition to that, you could make your own characters. There's a lot of customization elements and a lot of stuff like that. So that's pretty important. And even today, there aren't really very many companies that make action RPGs like they did in 16-bit days. Like, a lot of the East, Oath and Felghana, Arkham and Pisham, I always felt were a lot like Illusion of Gaia and Terra Enigma and all those sort of games, and the closest thing we have nowadays is like Diablo or the Shining Force games, which aren't really the same sort of thing. Anyway.
I think you forgot my intro.
Oh, this is Professor Alba. He's the forgetful, confused archaeologist who's always helpful.
Ever so helpful.
He's very helpful. I think he's going to steal my mic.
But seriously, I'm Will. I'm just here to look pretty on stage. I'm also involved in the Sora no Kiseki translation project, mostly doing graphics work because pretty much every bit of Japanese text in the game on like the maps and stuff or in the help menus is all actually layered onto the images, which means someone who knows how to use Photoshop actually has to go in and, clean all of that so that they can do their work afterwards. All right.
Yeah, the terrible map.
Yeah, as you can see here, this is a bunch of Falcom more recent games. They're all for the PC, which has a slight... One PSP game, yeah. The slight advantage of them being on the computer is that you can play them on a computer without... it's region issues, but you don't have to worry about modding anything. Like, you have to change your language to Japanese, and for Goomerman, you have to do a crazy date trick, but they're all perfectly playable pretty easily. And a couple of them have translation patches. Like Oath and Felghana, which is probably the best one they've done recently, is available in English.
And the translation patches for these games and for East 4 The Dawn of East on the PC Engine are all on these discs, which you will all be receiving, assuming we have enough for everyone. This is also the very first time the East, the Oath and Felghana translation patch has been released with the creator's blessing. We
have Nightwolf's permission to give the patch out to you guys.
Yeah, previously it had been leaked during a demo, and that's currently available. The version available online right now is an unfinished beta.
Is it still the
It's still the unfinished beta, but I think the only thing that's unfinished is like one graphic in the middle of the game that is not translated. And all it is a little bit like a cheesy little legend telling you how to double jump. So I think you're probably okay playing it even without that.
We have somebody who's...
No, I was just going to ask actually, because I'm playing through Oath and Felghana now, and I was wondering if they actually finished that one part.
No.
Yeah, I guess that part is still untranslated, but everything else is translated.
Yeah.
What happened to that part?
I don't know. I don't know what the trouble is with that one, but I don't know.
But
Anyway, there actually were a handful of Falcom games that have been released for the consoles throughout the years, so you might have played one of them without really knowing it. One of the biggest ones in the Nintendo area was Legacy of the Wizard, which is one of the most obtuse games for the system, and that's the same as Metroid, Castlevania 2, and all that obscure stuff.
If you legitimately beat that game back in the day, then you are superhuman, I think. Like,
you will have us bowing down to you. Actually, my friend's mom beat it. And my friend was like, and I had another friend who was like, her mom beat Legacy of the Wizard and I couldn't get through it. I'm ashamed.
Coolest mom ever.
I know.
Another big one was Faxanadu, which there's a series called Xanadu, which was released way back in the early to mid 80s, and they wanted to do a Famicom version of it. So Falcom was actually not involved in it. They actually didn't do too much of the console ports throughout them. But it was published by Hudson and was published in America by Nintendo to sort of capitalize off the Zelda 2 craze.